Men didn't go to school and become doctors and lawyers and engineers and get great careers so that they could get with a woman that 10 done been with. What do men actually want? Is the question. What do men actually want? What men actually want is a traditional wife. Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking about the dudes that want to be perpetually single. I'm not talking about the dudes that want to play the field. I'm not talking about the dudes that don't want to settle down. I'm talking about the men. I'm talking about the men that women claim are good men, the men that actually want to be married. They want traditional wives. So let's be clear about what men's expectations really are, because modern women have built a fantasy version where men want what they happen to be offering. So, like I said, men want a traditional wife. That's it. That's the assignment. It hasn't changed. It's the same shit that it's been forever. Nothing is different. Matter of fact, let me ask all of the fellas in here right now. Has what men want from women changed? In fact, all of the guys that come to the internet and say what men want, it's the same shit men been wanting since before they came to the internet to talk about it. So what are the things that a man wants? I'm going to repeat it here so the women can hear it. Matter of fact, press a 1 if you're a woman and you want to hear this list. Press a 1 in the chat. So this is the list. 1, submits to her husband's leadership, not as a slave, but as a wife, a companion who recognizes the household needs one head and trusts him to lead it. That's the first thing. Number 2, cooks. We talking about real meals consistently and as an act of love and care for the family. Number 3, cleans and maintains the home, keeps the household a place of peace, not a war zone, keeps the household a place of peace and not a war zone. Number 4, raises the children, present, hands-on, teaching them values and being there when they need her, not outsourcing motherhood to daycare. Now, where does the confusion come from? The confusion comes from the fact that they mistook acceptance for approval. Just because men have accepted certain things, they think we approve of it. That's why you'll hear women say stuff like, well, if you men don't like it, why y'all dealing with the women? Why y'all having kids with the women? Why y'all marrying these women? Because men have accepted it. But that doesn't mean they approve of it. They just get tired of fighting. They get tired of arguing. Modern women see men marrying career women with bodies and degrees and assume that's what men were looking for. It's not. That's what men settled for. There's a difference between the man who orders the steak he wanted and the man who orders the only thing left on the menu. Just because he ordered the one thing that was left on the menu doesn't mean he didn't want steak. The fact that you got chosen doesn't mean you exceeded expectations. It means you were available and a man decided to make peace with the gap between what he wanted and what was offered. And I know that's some cold shit to hear, but look, it's the truth. It's the cold-blooded truth. The day a real traditional woman walks into the room, every one of those men will start comparing. And most of them will realize what they actually wanted was never what they ended up with. And look, I'm not trying to say that women have to be perfect. I'm not trying to say that at all. Everybody got their shit with them. Everybody got their issues, both men and women. But you can't be out here saying you exceed everybody's expectations. And keep in mind, when they ask those women that question, did they meet men's expectations. All of those women, they didn't just say we exceed their expectations. They said typically all women exceed men's expectations. This is what they said. I would pull the video up, but I don't feel like looking for it. But that's what they said. They said that all women on average exceed men's expectations. This is how long they've been lying to each other. This is how long they've been drinking their own Kool-Aid. This is how long they've been full of shit. So what's the verdict? Modern women didn't exceed men's expectations. They didn't even meet them. They took a different test, graded themselves an A+, and now they're confused about why men aren't lining up to marry them in the numbers they expected. Now they're trying to figure out when they go to these singles events why it'll be 100 women at the damn event and 2 men. The reason why there's 100 women at the event is because the women still expect the men to be the men they've always been. They still expect the men to be providers. They still expect the men to be accomplished. They still expect the men to be providers. They still expect the men to do all of the things that we've always traditionally done. The reason there's only 2 men there is because they know out of those 100 women, 0 of them meet our expectations. Every woman at that event, 9 times out of 10, has been with other men. A lot of those women at that event don't want to cook and clean for no man. They look at it as being oppressive and slavery and shit. Most of those women do not want to submit to a man. Because let's be real about it. Since when has a woman ever had to go to a singles event to get a man? You go to back in the day when women met these expectations, they didn't have trouble finding men. Men was fighting over women back in the day. There are men during the Victorian era that dueled each other over women. That's where they stand back to back with a damn musket, one of them old school guns, and they walked so many paces and turned around and shot. A lot of times them duels was over a woman. The expectations haven't changed. The willingness to say them out loud has changed. The market that enforces them has changed. The women trying to meet them have changed. But the expectations haven't changed. The actual scoreboard, same as it's always been: submit, cook, clean, raise children, save yourself for your husband, build a home of peace. That's the list. Anybody telling you the list has changed is lying to you. Anybody bragging about a degree, a career, and her body, her choice, while wondering why she can't find a husband is proof. You don't exceed the expectations. You change the subject, and men notice. We notice the okie doke, and that's the main reason why you see the frustration amongst the men. That's why you see all of these men online complaining, as y'all put it. And that goes for you simping ass dudes that be up here too, talking about, I'm tired of men coming to the internet complaining. Well, tell the women to tighten up and they'll stop complaining, because they ain't complaining for nothing. They're complaining for a reason. Men still want high quality women, but women expect men to go above and beyond to be high quality men, only to accept a woman who's not high quality. And that don't even make sense, because at the end of the day, it goes against men's nature. It goes against our natural way of doing things. Men went above and beyond because back then the woman was the prize. Men wanted to get great careers and make plenty of money so that they would be attractive to the best woman. Men didn't go to school and become doctors and lawyers and engineers and get great careers so that they could get with a woman that 10 niggas done been with, a woman that won't even make him a sandwich, a woman that's loud and overbearing and he can't even quiet her down. He can't even get her to chill out. Men didn't go through all of that trouble to get somebody that he could have got if he was broke, that he could have got if he didn't have a career, if he didn't have an education, if he just didn't care about life. And before you say that's not true, let's be real about it. You got women out here that claim to be high quality and claim they want a high quality man, and they all got a story about some bum that they was with. So you got to ask yourself, why was they with a bum in the first place? Why were they with a bum in the first place? That's a legitimate question. So saying that you exceed expectations is just not true. And what's even worse is not only do you not meet certain expectations, but you tell the men that they're terrible people if they don't accept it. It's like going to a restaurant and they expect you to pay the same price as you would pay at a 5-star restaurant, but they serving you up some bullshit. They serving you up low quality food that other people have been munching on. You go into that restaurant, the freaking table is rickety, the tablecloth is dirty, the dishes ain't really clean. And when they bring out your plate, they bring you out a burger and fries, and somebody already bit into the burger. And the service is horrible. The burger's cold, took them forever to bring it out. When they brought it out, they threw it on the table. And you looked at them and said, hey, man, why would I pay all of this money for this? And then they look at you and say, oh, you're a horrible person. You should be happy with what you're getting. Does that make any sense? Doesn't make any sense, man, because you're expected to dress formally just to get in the restaurant. You're expected to pay a high bill and give a high tip. It doesn't make sense.